Many islanders were grain farmers, as it is easier to grow in the island conditions than on artificial terraces. After each harvest, the grain was sold to Samoan merchants who would buy it from them with hefty trades. Xhyii'moku family life involved a large family unit, as to keep them company on their islands and provide enough manpower to sustain themselves. The family unit usually involved a mother, father, grandmother, grandfather of both sides, sometimes including aunts, uncles, and in rare cases up to great-grandparents. Daily life would usually involve the mother staying home to take care of her children, and the father would leave to do a variety of roles. These roles could include farming, fishing, hunting, or gathering. The mother and father usually only had 1 or 2 children. It was rare to see 3. The children would usually be homeschooled for the early years of their life until around ages 6 or 7, which involved teaching kids how to farm, hunt, use the whistle, survive on their own, taught about the Xlantia myth, and traditional values. Ancient tradition was upheld to the highest of standards and was taught like religion. The grandmothers would usually weave clothes in baskets together and/or helped in homeschooling the little ones. The grandfathers, depending on if they were able-bodied, would have followed the son into whatever activity he chose. When the children grow up to around teenage years, they would have visited many islands around theirs looking for a potential spouse during the many occasions. Sometimes arranged marriages were all a family could do depending on the distance between the islands. Once married, they would start on a new island that they set sail to find, which was inhabited. A lot of the time, these islands were readily available, and the families had to buy the land from other landowners. Other times it was picked out already by the immediate family. Therefore, there are rarely 3 children in the family, since the family would have to be split up into thirds to go into their own separate islands if they were married. Before marriage, or even during the wedding, the couple would create a family crest together, which would be the symbol which represents them. Housing of the Xhyii'moku would usually consist of a hut on stilts due to the changing tides, but this is if they chose to build it closer to the shore. Other housing, like huts or shacks, were created as well. Although being separated by families on each small island, many islands were consolidated into separate maritime nations governed by a plutocracy that owned land. Many plutocracies controlled the many of the archipelagos that are spread across the surface of Xlantia. The plutocracies of the Xhyii'moku were based on how much food they had, which usually involved slaves on their home islands who farmed non-stop. The food made by the slaves was used to buy islands from different families.